Hello, UCR. What's your favorite scary movie?
Hi guys, totally thanks for waiting for us. We were a little bit late because there was this apparently pile up on the highway, but we went off the off-road and we're fine. We made it. It's all good.
We're
Welcome
going to the
to
theme
this
park.
week. Yeah, this week's Uncensored Horror. We're going to be trying to just find a bit of fun in our lives and visiting a theme park because what could happen there? Nothing bad.
You know what?
Nothing bad ever
we
happened
should,
at the theme park.
before we get into the film, should we preface with what film we're going to talk about first?
Of course, ladies and gentlemen, we are midway. This is the midway point. We are the midway through our review series of Final Destination. As we've said, we are hitting the coaster hard this week with our review of Final Destination 3.
Now, when I saw this film, and then when this is a real life tragedy that happened, and I know that stuff has happened at many theme parks, but we had one here close to home, Steve, at Dreamworld, where I always thought it was the safest ride you could go on, which was the river raft ride. It was in this huge big tube, and you go down some rapids and stuff, and a few little animals, fake animals spray water at you, and it's cute and it's whatever. Turns out that I often thought as a child I could just jump in that water and how fun would it be? No, there's a lot of stuff happening under the water, chains and cables and
gears and conveyor belts.
So there was an actual incident here where something like this tragedy did actually happen, and it was awful, and it's still coming up in our media often. But I thought I'd just brighten everything
really
and
bring everyone right up to a happy
lead us
beginning.
into this, talking about a silly old slasher movie by bringing up a real life tragedy. But this stuff can happen.
You know what's funny is I was watching TikTok last night, as I do before bed, and a TikTok came by on my FYP about this woman. She put her son. It was one of those amusement park rides where they record you while you're on it. So I think it's one of those slingshot rides where you just gets pushed into the air. Apparently his seatbelt came undone. But he still had the big
he held it down.
Yeah, that held on. The whatever you call it, the big one that comes over and
the harness thingy.
Harness, thank you. It's a little early. So so the harness was still locked in. It was just the seatbelt. And the big argument in the comments was, well, if that comes undone, that's fine because the harness is the main safety measure. And I'm thinking,
wow,
if it gave out,
if anything comes undone, for that, that's an issue for me. Anything comes undone.
But the kid was not fazed by the seatbelt coming undone, holding onto the harness, having a great time. And I'm just like, I don't know if I'd put that on there. I don't know if
kids do crazy stuff, Katie. We know this. Like my kid during this most violent, horrific turbulence ever when we were going to the States last time. Mm-hmm. And the woman next to her is crying. And my daughter's there pretending she's on a roller coaster going She just completely disassociated the danger. I think it's a great life skill.
So let's lower our sashes and apply our harnesses and strap in for this review, shall we? If you have not seen Final Destination 3 yet, pause and then join us when you're ready for the ride. But for everyone else, let's hop aboard the Devil's Flight roller coaster, shall we? Mm-hmm. So Final Destination 3 is a standalone movie in the sequel series. Obviously, Final Destination 2 was a direct sequel. This one is the first one where we're branching out. It does tangentially mention the other stuff, but it is a story unto itself, which is kind of refreshing. We have high school high school student and control freak.
You know, I'm such a control freak. Like,
In case you don't know, by the end of the first 15 minutes, Wendy Christensen visiting a Pennsylvania theme park with her with her boyfriend Jason, her best friend Carrie, and Carrie's boyfriend Kevin as they celebrate their graduation with the rest of their class. As they board the Devil's Flight roller coaster, Wendy
What is it with classrooms and people lining up to die?
Well, this is what they do in America. Wendy has a premonition that a dropped camcorder will land on one of the tracks that is already under-maintained, causing a catastrophic event series that will lead to many, many horrendous deaths. As per usual, we managed to have our little premonition just in time to freak out and get everyone off the ride, or our main characters off the ride before the crash. Now, she convinces 9 passengers to get off, including Kevin, our best friends Ashley and Ashlyn, former alumni Frankie Cheeks, athlete Lewis, goth couple Ian and Erin. Yeah. Let's talk about this opening sequence because we get our Tony Todd cameo straight away. Pretty much straight.
He's the voice of the announcer on the roller coaster.
Pretty intense roller coaster. I was like, oh god.
Well, there's a reason why I won't go on most roller coasters.
See, this is one I haven't watched as recently as the others. Does Tony Todd also feature in the film, or did he only do?
No, this
cameo?
is his this is the cameo. So yeah, no Bloodworth in this one, just the voice.
Okay.
No, just the voice in the roller coaster and on the subway.
Yeah,
cool.
Later on, so he is in the universe, which again I think there is a big conversation that is had that Tony Todd's character is a manifestation / agent of death, and that's how he knows what's going on. So to have him lurking in this world that's not part of the first series of movies, the first 2, is kind of refreshing. But I can relate to this one. I am not good with heights, and I have ridden a few roller coasters in my time, and I get that. It's the worst part. Honestly, the ride itself is never usually the bad part. It's the waiting,
it's getting on.
I don't.
It's lining up and getting on.
You probably never went to Australia's Wonderland, Luke, in Sydney, did you?
No, I have
no.
Never
okay, so there was a theme park close to me as I was growing up, and they had a roller coaster, not unlike Devil's Flight. This one was called the Demon, and on the Demon, you sat on your rail on your car, and it brought you up backwards, really slowly. So instead of climbing, you got brought up, and then it dropped you, did the whole thing, hit the peak, and it felt like you were going to go off backward, and then you did the whole thing backwards again.
Oh, no, thank you.
And I remember literally crying on the roller coaster because I was like, oh my god, I can't get off, I'm going to die. This is it. It's all over. And I rode that a couple of times. After the first time, it was okay. But yeah, just that I can relate to her anxiety here. It's just like, oh no.
We just went to Disney over spring break, and Grayson got me on a couple of rides that I normally wouldn't go on. And while we're getting seated, Tower of Terror specifically, I'm sitting there I feel like I made a bad decision. And the ride starts, and oh my god.
I have a Tower of Terror story as well.
It's just, and he got me on there twice, so clearly I didn't think it was that bad. But as you're falling, it's like, this is why I don't like elevators. This is why I don't like heights. I can't handle this.
Although it's not Tower of Terror anymore in California, sadly.
Yeah.
It is now Guardians of the Galaxy. When we came over for Halloween, we went to Disney. I was like, yeah, I'll go on it. And I sat down. I'm like, what was it about this ride? I'm like, what was it about this ride? And as soon as we started going up, I think my body went into full like PTSD mode. And it was our former co-host Brooke and her husband, and I latched myself around Chris's arm like this. I'm like, oh shit, that's right, this is about to happen. Because you know what? I am not a small bitch, but there is for my body to hover out of the seat was a bit much for me. I was like, oh,
the
God,
weightlessness
right.
you experience is quite anxiety inducing, I would say.
Yeah, right.
Because I found that one very confronting too.
Because we couldn't all go on it together because we had Buffy with us. So it was just like, okay.
So we did it we did it in stages.
We did it in shifts. We
knew not to take her on that one.
No, because she wanted to too, remember? She was like, I want to go.
She's all about it.
Exactly. We saw the result of her Jurassic Park ride, Jurassic World ride. We took her on that, and I will definitely splice that photo in as we talk about this. She did not feel okay going on that ride, and she did not trust any other rides in that park until pretty much the end of the day when I'm like, no, you can come on the Simpsons ride. It's not like that. Like, you're going to be okay. The Simpsons is hectic, though.
It was pretty hectic, but she liked it. She liked that one. It was too much happening on that Jurassic Park ride. You know, you're getting attacked by a Tyrannosaurus while dropping out, getting a weightless experience as you're getting plummeted down like a waterfall. I'm like, yeah,
to be fair,
a bit much.
She did handle Space Mountain well.
Oh, she was fine on Space Mountain.
I was behind you guys on Space Mountain.
We didn't get to go on that. The other one.
So little.
The other one we went on was the Slinky Dog Dash, which is about as fast as I can go. By the way, I can't go any faster. They couldn't get me on Cosmic Rewind, and
no.
That's the if the roller coaster is shaped like a Slinky Dog, I can handle it. Anything else is probably not it for me.
So, what did we think about this roller coaster crash? Because again, like Luke, I hadn't watched this movie in a hot minute, but I sat down and watched it, and I was like, you know what? For the time, these effects are pretty good. Like, they weren't horrendous.
Yeah, no, I thought it was pretty scary. It was pretty effective and solidified the fact that I'm not getting on any kind of roller coaster anymore.
Just the fact, like, that when he got thrown out of the roller coaster and they're holding on to Lewis as the thing's speeding around and gets taken out by a pylon, and then they get stuck upside down as the harnesses fail and they fall. It's just like, this is really traumatizing.
Oh yeah, they didn't just kill them in a crash. It was
they horrifically
experience.
Well, it wouldn't be a Final Destination without trauma, right?
Yeah. Well, or long drawn out death scenes. Like,
yeah.
I thought it was okay though, because this movie to me feels fresher than the last one. I don't know whether it's because it is standalone, because it's, it doesn't have anything to do with, Flight 180. Yeah. They do mention it, but we get kind of a clean slate.
Yeah. No, I think this movie kind of realized the mistakes that the second one had made. The second one, as we were saying in our review, is not really a terrible film. It just has problems. And I think this film was like, we don't need to inherit those problems. Let's just do this again, follow the formula.
Now, Katie alluded to the fact that she might have a bit of an issue with our leading lady.
I am not a big fan of Mary Elizabeth Winstead. I think she's terribly boring. I think she is just completely emotionless and just bland. I think you can find more excitement on a piece of toast. Like, I don't know.
I think she did pretty well for this movie.
I just think she's terrible.
Okay, well, I won't. we won't linger. We won't linger.
But I was going to say, this movie was initially linked to the second one. The two, AJ Cook and the other fellow was actually supposed to reprise their roles. but there was
Oh,
some
gosh.
scheduling conflicts, and then it would have been kind of linked together that Wendy and Kimberly are cousins, actually.
Okay, well that would have made sense. I'm fine with never seeing that character of the cop again. I thought he was useless.
Yeah, but you know what? I'm actually okay that they didn't do that, because that would have, like, thinking about it now, unless they were like
Yeah.
really, really close cousins, like, you know, Uncle whatever the dad's name was, I think it would have been really contrived. Like,
I think it is
Yeah.
contrived because, you know, like dying in an accident isn't like a genetic precursor like cancer.
Well,
Like,
Right.
we'll see.
and also
We'll
it
see. Hold on.
feels very lazy to say, "Oh, that's my cousin," because like,
It lingers. It goes into those 80s, 90s sequels where it's someone so's cousin who survived this, then they come to visit the small town. It's like it's very that. So having a fresh break with a new bunch of kids in a totally different area is fine.
yeah,
But the threat of Flight 180 is always present, you know. Kevin, who is, you know, we're supposed, I think that we're supposed to believe that they're going to be love interests for the whole movie.
Jim
I
and Ryan
guess.
Merriman,
Yeah.
I can get that vibe.
Well, I think that's maybe they're trying to dribble it. He mentions the explosion of Flight 180 and the survivors' subsequent deaths, believing that they may be in a similar situation.
They died in the order they would have if they stayed on the plane.
Which is really random, out of nowhere. This flight, like, I know that plane crashes are pretty momentous when they happen, but to name a flight and to know everything about that one specific flight, and especially the order of how people died, it's very. We'll give the movie its conceit, but it didn't really need it. They could have just used it as a throwaway line. This is like, be like, maybe they're stalking us like that flight, blah blah blah, something like that. We didn't need Flight 180 and they died in the same order. Like, how do people know that? I know Alex Browning. Oh well, that random dude that wrote a book about Alex dying in the last movie, in the intro to the last movie. Okay, cool. But what I've got to say here is this movie is where I think we hit that 80s, 90s horror. Let's go full out with deaths, right? Because after there's a few in this one that stand out quite noticeably. We're going to come to probably the other really noticeable one later, but the tanning bed.
oh. That's the
tanning
one.
bed.
This is one of the ones I remember very clearly from.
That is
Ashley and Ashlyn.
definitely the death of the movie, I would say.
That was a lot.
It
It
was.
That
a lot.
was yeah.
But again, we go back to something that the first movie did so well, is that we see the trail of death and what it's taking to get to people. So I really appreciated that. I think that last movie we had nearly very accurate premonitions with a shady question mark around it, whereas this we get the premonition-y kind of thing, but death is kind of taking center stage by going, what's going to get them? Is it the liquid? Is it this? Is it? And it's ultimately everything that really gets them. But being locked in those tanning booths, and I know that physically we've been told that this can't happen, but just because it can't happen doesn't make your brain stop thinking, like, what a horrible way to go.
Oh, absolutely.
What a horrible way to go, man.
But unlike some of the other deaths, this one is completely avoidable by avoiding tanning beds.
Pale
Well,
bitches
they're
unite.
illegal over here now.
Yeah.
They're still
There's-
legal over here, but I'm just gonna stay out of them.
Yeah,
I
no,
do
too
love-
much cancer.
I do love, they had the Romeo Michelle color coding going, the pink and the blue through the whole thing. Even their coffins. They were signature pink and blue coffins. I was like, this feels really Heathers all of a sudden. I didn't notice
They
it until
tried
that.
so hard to make those girls unlikable, and they were not unlikable.
They weren't like, well, that's very old high
Yeah.
school students.
Yeah,
They were high school students, like, nearing, like,
they were in their
menopause.
mid-20s for sure. The only high school students was the goth girl. I can't think of her
Alex
name.
Johnson.
Right now. Yes, she was the only.
Pop
She was
star,
the only.
pop star Alex Johnson, if you.
She was the only legitimate teenager in this movie.
But great boobs. Good work, ladies. Superfluous boob shot? Yes, done.
I mean, in my 20s, mine were in their prime too, so I totally get it.
I think one of them, I can't remember which one, they defied gravity a little bit. I think there was something wicked going on with her chest.
Just her
Yeah.
age. But look, I've used tanning beds in the past a lot, like when I was in my early 20s and I was doing a lot of performing and stuff. I would tan all the time. So this scene was a bit much for me, and it happened before they actually outlawed tanning beds, and I think this is what stopped me using them over the actual change in laws.
I don't think so, girl. I'm not going to go out crispy.
I think I've only used a tanning bed like a handful of times, and my thing was mostly that I can't sit still. Like you're like I'm stuck in my thoughts. I can't relax. I'm just like laying there like, is this done yet? They keep opening it to check the time. Like, am I done? Am I done?
You've
So
got
it
to
wasn't even worth it to
appreciate,
me.
though. You've got to appreciate the song was Rollercoaster.
I did
Yes.
love that.
And the whole urban legend about the scream in that song being a 911 call.
As soon as you hear roller
murdered.
coaster, you're
It's
going to
like-
die.
Yeah, it's not a good time.
Well, after they got off a roller coaster, they should have thought, oh, this song's a bit close to home right now.
I don't
all our
think Ashley
friends
and
are dead.
Ashlyn had very deep thoughts, babe.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure they were connecting that. I think they're just going, ooh, funky song.
Remember, they owed the tan to the people who died.
Oh, okay. Of course they
They
did.
deserve to look good to honor their memory.
Mm-hmm.
But I will give this movie its conceit that the premonitions are based on the evidence collected in the photographs. You know, I will give it that little twist on its conceit because it is different enough that we're not getting smacked over the head with it, and they have to actually kind of solve a mystery. It's not like, oh, I see a man with hooks, and then the next second we see a man with hooks. It's
Mm-hmm.
a little less in your face.
Yeah, it's a little less like on the nose.
And I'm glad they stopped calling Wendy a control freak after the first 15 minutes. I really need people to just have that one more go through of the script with a different proofreader, so I don't have to have the same thing repeated. Like, I know that they think the audiences are idiots, but some of us aren't, as I've said before. I don't need to hear, you're such a control freak, you just need to let go, you need to leave, you can't control death. It's like, we
You
get
just
it.
need to get on a roller coaster.
Yeah,
I know
babe,
I'm a control freak. I've been told that my whole life. I just can't let go of control.
It's like, we get it. Now, I do like that this is, that they are trying to put the mystery together. Wendy and Kevin are doing the do, and then I didn't pick again. I forgot about this. The runaway semi-trailer that tries to kill them. The truck pins them in. Like this again. This is random coincidences that are causing it. It's not psychic premonition when something random like is going to happen. But poor Frankie, like I know he was a total sleazeball, but at least look, he didn't see that coming, and I doubt he would have felt it very much when the blade of that motor took out the back of his head. That's like, it was chunky. I'll give them that. They went up with the gore. Everyone's getting splashed with gore in this movie a lot. There's lots of chunks of people.
If we had to choose between that death and being burned in a tanning
Oh
bed.
yeah,
and
no, I would just let the
Yeah.
truck run up
Yeah.
the back of me, and he wouldn't have felt that much.
he got the easier out. Let's
did.
be honest.
He definitely did, and he was just
You know what
Yeah.
kind of bothers me is
What?
that every time Wendy and her friend there,
Kevin.
the guy, Ryan Merriman,
Kevin.
I can never remember these guys' names. That's just how little I care about these characters. But every time they go to try to stop death or try to talk to someone, they walk out of it like it's just another Tuesday. Like they could be covered in blood. They could have just seen something horrific, and they're just like, another day, another dollar, whatever. Next guy.
When it gets to the third one, I think that's more like you would be a little bit more shocked, I think, with the first. Oh, they were pretty shocked with Frankie because they dove out of the way.
I would have been shocked every single time, even though I had, in the back of my mind, I know this person actually might die. Like, it would never, like, I guess eventually you get desensitized to it, but, like, I don't think it would be that early on that you would be completely numb to the fact that you've just seen half your class get taken out. I don't know. And maybe that's why I just don't like her, but it just bothers me that these kids are just not like, I'm going away this weekend. My mom thinks I need to spend some time in this hospital because I would have been done. I would have been done. Like, I'll check myself in. Thank you.
You're checking into Clear River's old room. You're like, I'm just going to be here for a little minute,
Like, I just need some time to myself.
But don't you realize, Kate,
Heal.
that she is a control freak? So she's got to be in control of everything.
Just, I can't.
It's ironic that, Wendy and Kevin are trying to save everyone, but yet every time that they go near someone, they get killed in the most horrendous way. At Lewis's gym death scene was another one that was like, there's so much going on. You're like, is it going to be the electric? Is someone going to get electrocuted? Are those swords going to fall? It's just like, and it was just the most beautiful moment when those weights kind of turned his head into pancake, and you're like, oh god, that was a steer definitely into the comedy portion.
He deserved it.
Oh, I think the tanning beds tried to keep it a bit funny too, but it got too
I don't
much.
think the tanning bed was funny. I think the tanning bed was horrific.
It started out funny and then it got too much.
This was just like, he was a douchebag, and it's like
the tanning bed is funny leading up to it, just because they're like, oh, I'm in here.
Yeah.
Like, no shit, you're
and
in a
you know
tanning
they're
bed.
and you know they're fucked when they're getting in those tanning beds. But then when it actually happens, like, oh, this ain't fun. This is oof.
No, I'm
But
not having
again-
a good time watching you burn up. It's not fun.
Lewis's head turning to pulp, and again covering Wendy and Kevin in gore.
Yep, and then they just kind of walk out in their new college swag.
Given it, look, at least they were given a change of clothes for their trouble this time. They're walking out with their bags going,
I bet they paid for it.
traumatized faces going, holding onto their gore-filled clothes.
No, my
They've
God.
got Frankie's guts on them. They've got Lewis's head guts on him. It's just not it. No, it's definitely not it. So we are all still at the moment trying to figure out the order in which people died on the roller coaster, and the photos are giving these clues. They aren't, however, obvious. Like the fan behind Frankie's head was what killed him, not the ladder he was on. So it's about paying attention to the minutia, I guess, like Alex. Not so much going, I know exactly what's going to happen. It's the ever-present, holy shit, anything can kill me, which, is a little bit refreshing for me. So the last two survivors, who we think are our last two survivors, are the next visit. Ian and Erin are working at a hardware store.
What could go wrong?
This is the other one that sticks out in my mind because, first of all, who's killing pigeons with a fucking nail gun? What a psychopath!
That's what I'm saying. It freaks me out. He is just legitimate.
I liked it because of what happens at the end. it worked for me because having a human represent a threat as well was an interesting twist.
I
But
liked that too. And
yeah,
he is legitimately scary, so that just kind of made sense.
yeah, but this whole scene, you're just like, oh my god, what is it going to? There's just so much that can kill you. You know, he falls into the the saw. Like the forklift gets caught. Then, but look, by the way, would you not hear that forklift moving?
That was what Grayson said. So, as we all know, I have my little apprentice that I watch these movies with, and we're watching it, and the thing starts going, and he goes, "Wouldn't you hear that?
Yeah.
You just hear it like banging into things, and
But you'd hear the machinery. Like
right."
forklifts aren't silent.
He was very upset that no one heard it coming.
I'm glad we're training them young to question this, right?
Yeah, he was very upset that they did not hear that. He was screaming at the TV, "Hello, it's right behind you."
So this. Oh, sorry. Continue.
No, you're right. I was just going to say. So I do remember the warehouse scene vaguely, and I know how one of them dies.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what's interesting. This is what's interesting, right? So what was supposed to happen, Death's plan, we're led to believe, is that Ian was supposed to be killed by the falling slabs and stuff and the pickets. But because he was saved, it skips him and goes to Erin, who gets the most violent piercings I've ever seen in my life.
This is the other one that
this is the other one that stands out to me just because it is so graphic.
Well, this is the death I remember.
Stop. It doesn't stop. It's just like, oh god, through the eye, through the hand, through the mouth, through the nose, through the cheek, and she's alive through all of it, and she's going, I'm like,
yeah.
Oh god, no, that's harsh, man.
I gotta imagine a nail gun death is just very unpleasant, and I don't want to experience that for myself.
No, she definitely. I would have felt some of that because that's not okay.
See, I like her as an actress. I
Alex
feel like
Johnson, pop star Alex Johnson, by the way.
I feel like she would have been a little more.
A better final girl.
Yeah, she would have been a lot more interesting. I think.
She did very well as the bratty like goth girl though. She
really did, and I know that. Now, did we establish that they're like together, Ian and her, or like are we just
they are those those kids that are best friends through high school, but are not a couple, but are a couple, but you know.
I never got any romantic vibes out of them. Maybe from him, but she did not care.
Yeah, unrequited love, maybe. That's why he's so upset. Well, obviously, having your friend become a random cheer pet of nails in front of you is a bit
she's a pincushion. Let's just
graphic. But you know, it is. Look, she's not wrong. She's not wrong.
Fine, she's a nail bed. Fine.
She got messed up.
Yeah.
I just do remember the gun and the nail gun kept shooting and shooting.
Just
I'm like, oh,
the little whimpers that she's giving as it's happening. You're like, oh god, you poor bitch.
Like no disrespect, I'm just calling it what it is.
Now, mystery wise, we are still trying to identify our real final two survivors because their faces are obscured in the picture that Wendy took for the yearbook. But after being bugged about this good luck bracelet several times throughout the movie, we're like, oh, why do we care about this good luck bracelet? We see it in the photo. That's right. Wendy's sister, Julie, owner of the most hideous hat in the world, is one of the final two victims. So, along with her friend Perry. So Wendy and I forgot his name now. Kevin.
Oh, Kev.
Kev are rushing to the local tricentennial to save them. Now, there has been a conversation between Wendy and Kevin is that they wouldn't look at their photos until they really needed to. So they wouldn't be paranoid about how they're going to die while there was still having deaths. Kevin is working security at the Tricentennial, and Kevin's photo has him being blinded by the flash as he's standing next to a trailer full of fireworks. So Kevin knows his goose is cooked, or he's like, for fuck's sake, man. Like, I don't know. At what point do you give up? At what point do you...
Well, I'm just so impressed that they all realize exactly what's happening so easily, but sure.
That too. And I would have liked to see the firework death. I gotta be honest.
I
think that would've been
appreciate
cool.
this whole thing, right? Because Julie getting the rope around her neck, being dragged by the horse, like that was cool.
That was cool.
I remember that being a shocking moment when I saw it the first time. Again, I didn't even ask. I saw this in cinemas, definitely.
I saw it at the movies. The cinemas.
Maybe.
Maybe? Always getting there.
Maybe in this, because these movies are coming out as I'm in high school.
Every 3 years at this point.
And my parents allowed me to see them. Like they just kind of knew I was going to find a way to do it one way or another. So I was either going on my own. I either like went and saw them, or I rented them afterwards, because it just kind of depends on how interested I was at the time. I was of age, just how much did I care?
Yeah, right.
And
well, these are very much teen group movies, like,
and that's probably what I did. Quite honestly, I probably went with a group of friends or on a date or something, but like.
Because we did live in that golden era where you could, we had a lot of slashers, a lot of these movies that you could go and see. You and your friends like, all right, let's go see a horror movie. Scary, awesome, cool.
Yeah.
And that's something you could do.
I remember I went with my good friend from high school, Travis was his name. And I recall the conversation too, saying to his mum, we wanted to go to the movie, but when too young to go. And she was like, well, she was too busy or whatever. So then I just hit my mum up and I'm like, will you take Travis and I to see Scream 2? And she was like, okay, not knowing what Scream is. And she was fine.
I just can't decide if I convinced friends to go or not, because I know a lot of my friends didn't really like scary movies. And the only time they'd watch scary movies is when I got all the girls together for my birthday and made them watch my scary movies for a slumber party. But I can't really decide if I ever convinced someone to go or not. Jess might have been game to go because she was just the best and would kind of roll with the punches.
Such a control freak, Katie.
I'm such a control freak. I'm sorry. I just can't let go of control. One of my biggest...
Well, luckily, the rope let go of young Julie before she got impaled horribly on a harrow, but it didn't save her friend Perry, who had no line. She might have had maybe one line before she got the flagpole through the chest. Very patriotic death.
She stood up nice and tall to salute the flag, and the flag saluted her and
slowly slid down it. It's like
Trump would have been proud.
We don't speak on this podcast. We don't bring that kind of negativity into the room. Okay, thank you. Thank you. Okay,
so this is again the Rube Goldberg of death. I'll try that again. Exploding propane canister.
Oh my god!
Is going for Kevin, but Wendy saves him. This is where the twist comes in. Ian, whose last name is the same as the name of the high school, McKinley, I think it is, right?
Yeah, McKinley.
Is the clue to Wendy's death, because she's wearing a McKinley High t-shirt. That's the only thing that is, clue-worthy. Ian shows up. I remember, maybe this is my brain filling in gaps. I thought he had a gun.
He didn't. But
I know.
But I love his bad guy arc. I love it.
Yeah, he gives me vampire vibes, the goth.
The fireworks going off in the back. do I cause your death? And he's just got this great evil smile. And I'm just like, this is awesome.
I
Killer,
could
do
have
it.
probably done with a bit more of that, because
Yeah.
it made the movie a little bit more interesting that, there was a human nature
Protagonist
part
as
of
well?
it. Yeah, like
Yes, he's just,
antagonist, yeah. But
he's
yeah,
just antagonizing. How's it happen? How do I do
Yeah.
it? Like, I love that. I thought that
it
was
was
like
cool.
probably the most
That cat and
interesting
mouse,
part of the movie.
a little bit more of that cat and mouse would have been really interesting, I think. But with these movies, we get close to that 90-minute mark, and it's got to be.
Yeah, they're getting to like 75, and they're like, we gotta ramp this up, guys.
But the irony is, Ian inadvertently saves Wendy when the cherry picker that she's standing there crushes him where she was briefly before. So it's, I guess, turnabout is fair play. She saved him, so death came back, and it reversed. It's like the Uno moment.
Yeah.
It's getting too complicated now.
It's getting a little bit complicated.
They can throw in wild cards and everything.
This is where we get the and another twist that I remember not seeing coming. We have a time jump.
Yeah.
We have a time jump. Now, 5 months later, Wendy starts to experience omens again while riding the subway with her new roommates. And just as she's about to leave and get off and go to safety, she runs face to face with Julie. And minutes later, if even minutes, they realize Kevin is also on the same train. Cue horrendous subway ending. I thought that was going to be the end, but it was a premonition. And then we get the accident. It's like, oh, okay, that was kind of cool. So death, the difference here is death won. There was no, like, we got some survivors allegedly from the last one. AJ Cook is still dealing with barbecue trauma. But with this one, death wins. Well and truly.
Well, another alternate ending was that AJ Cook and Michael Landers. Michael Landers.
Yeah.
So another alternate ending was that they die in a wood chipper accident. So they do not survive. But they did not go along with that one. So I guess if they were to make an appearance in this one, they were supposed to be on the train at the end.
It would have been cool if maybe they were the ones that got on the train or something. I don't know. But they weren't meant. I as we said, I kind of appreciate them not being a part of it at all. And this is just a totally separate incident.
Yeah, I appreciate that too. I mean, I think you could have snuck them in there just like sitting in the background.
Yeah.
Like, or even just like really quickly when the train's starting to crash, just her standing up. It's happening again.
Yeah.
And there's your quick
control
nod.
freak.
Oh shit. Yeah,
she's
like
learning to let go.
I kind of liked the grim nature. Excuse the pun. I kind of liked the grim nature of the ending of it. We just see like the lights of the train. You're like, oh god, it's going.
We're just gonna take them all out at once.
Yeah, we're just gonna take them all out. So that brings us to the end of this ride. So, how many nails through the head do we give Final Destination 3 out of 5 nails? I'll go with Katie first. How many nails?
You sicko.
I'd say 2.5.
2.5?
It was okay. It was. It could have been better. Could have been worse, but it did what it was supposed to do. I wish we had a little more time with Ian's villain arc. I think that would have really kind of made it interesting. Is Ian going to do it, or is it going to be Death? Is Ian Death's messenger? I was into that part. As I stated, I really don't care about these characters. There's nothing about them that makes me want to protect them, especially Mary Elizabeth Winstead. Deaths were cool, and the effects were not as cheesy as they could have been. Supposedly, this was supposed to be the 3D movie, but it did not. But I see where they were trying to do it. I see where
It
they're
could have
trying to go.
been. We'll
Yes.
discuss 3D very soon.
Yes. All in all, I'd watch it if it came on TV and there was nothing else to do. But
So how many
this is-
nails? You said 2.5, didn't you?
I said 2.5, but yeah, it's
Right.
not my favorite. It's not my favorite installment.
Very well. Luke, how about you?
Look, it's got a few little weak points, but I feel it was an improvement on the second one. And just for Ashley and Ashlyn, was that their names?
Yes.
Correct.
I think it deserves at least 3.5. The girls bumped that up that extra point that Katie's given it.
You are being way too kind.
No, they kind of made the movie for me, but yeah, shit didn't go well.
They're
for them.
barely in it. Okay, you know what? Ashley and Ashlyn get a 5 because they're just they were too
Well,
good
I'm
for
still
this
giving
world.
it a 3.5. I enjoyed the whole roller coaster thing, and then I thought the ending as well was clever enough. I was like, oh, cool. That was a good way to end a film. So I think it tied up everything nicely, and I felt it was a more coherent film than the second one.
Well, look, I'm going to be the outlier here.
No, you're not. Don't do it.
I'm going to give it a 4.
What the hell, Steve?
After being so disappointed with the last movie on rewatch, this one was a lot more fun. I had more fun with this one. I'm not saying it's a great movie at all.
It was Ashley and Ashlyn.
I think the deaths are a little bit more creative. I love the roller coaster thing. I liked that it wasn't anything to do with surviving Flight 180. I liked all of that. Yes, there's some bad script moments, which, you know,
You mean the whole
what
script.
can you do? It wasn't as bad as the last one that this bitch just randomly knows. And not to preface what's to come with my premonitions, but things will get worse. That's all I'm gonna say. But yeah, I really enjoyed this one. I'm surprised that I'm going to give it as high a rating as I did, but I would go back to this one over 2 now. And I used to love part 2.
Yeah.
So for me, we're going 1-3-2 at the moment if we're doing ratings.
That's my rating as well, but I cared more about I think the only reason I cared more about the characters in 2 is because Claire was there.
The Rivers. Yeah, obviously.
But she had poor writing too, like as we talked about.
No, they did her dirty, and we.
It is the joy of
It wasn't
franchise,
the
right?
character or the actress's fault. That was just
No.
bad writing.
And it is for most of these movies. It's not with the exception of my one pet peeve. It's not the actor's fault.
But look, that's the joy of horror franchise. There's always something coming and something in the pipe. Before we finish today's show, we're going to briefly discuss the fact that there is big news on 2 90s horror franchises. We have had the trailer drop for I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025. I'm ready. I am so ready.
I got a little bit too much, like, emotionally overwhelmed when I saw Elsa and Helen's graves side by side.
I am getting distinct Scream 5 vibes from this, like heavy Scream 5 vibes from it, which is a good thing. I think for them moving forward, if they want to continue the franchise after this movie, it will be interesting to see what happens. But with the trailer drop of I Know What You Did Last Summer comes the news that the Urban Legend reboot is back on the cards. So we're
I don't know if I heard that. Oh,
I
this
didn't
is
know
new
this.
news. This is news in the last 24 hours. Urban
That
Legend is back. So get ready to get your axes, get your Parker, because
Get your Tara Reeds.
you never
Listen,
know what's going to happen.
bring her back. Girl needs to win.
Commonality. Roller
needs to win.
Coaster was featured in that movie as well.
It was.
Just throwing it out there. Tara Reid needs to win.
All right, guys. Thank you for coming on this ride with us. This has been Uncensored Horror. And until next time, please make sure all your hands, arms, and bodily extremities remain within the car for the duration of the ride. Thank you. And good night.
such a control freak. Like, I couldn't handle that.
They say the real fear with these rides comes from the